What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your physical media hub. I am Ken, here today to review and talk about one of the latest releases from Paramount, Scream on 4K. I have this beautiful steelbook right here, guys, the Scream steelbook. I'm gonna do an unboxing, show you all a more in-depth look in the video a little bit later. But before I get into it, guys, before I get into talking about this classic 90s horror film, I wanna ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more great content. I do all kinds of stuff on this channel, mostly centered around the world of physical media. I do new Blu-ray and 4K reviews like this. I do Blu-ray out and about videos every single Tuesday. I do the physical media report every single Monday where I update you on all the latest happenings in the world of physical media. I do live streams with other collectors, just all kinds of content on this channel. If you like Blu-rays, if you like 4Ks, if you like physical media, DVDs, whatever, hit that subscribe button for more great content. Also, be sure to like this video, guys, and comment down below if you have any thoughts on the movie Scream. Did you pick up this 4K release? Did you find the slipcover in stores? Did you find the steelbook in stores? What were your troubles in getting this, and when did you get it from the release? Because this came out 2 weeks ago. And I'm just now getting it in this week, and that's why I'm a little bit later on the review. I know some people were seeing the steelbook in stores because it did get delayed. Some people were seeing the steelbook in stores like the next week. Some people just now started seeing slipcovers in Target. I still have not seen a slipcover out in the wild. I do want it, though, to add to my collection because it's a really nice slipcover. But I got the steelbook. I'm happy I got the steelbook. I'm happy I got this movie and to talk about with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. This film, Scream, came out in 1996, directed by Wes Craven, starring Neve Campbell, Drew Barrymore, Matthew Lillard, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Jamie Kennedy, Skeet Ulrich, just Rose McGowan, so many people, Henry Winkler, so many people is in this movie. The cast is absolutely insane. And yeah, this movie, guys, has been with me since I was a kid. It's been with me for a very long time, 25 years. I remember seeing this movie on VHS when it came out. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I do remember seeing the sequel in theaters, but not this one. But yeah, what else can you say about this movie? It is a classic movie from the 90s, classic horror movie. It changed the genre in ways that I think that no other horror film has done since this movie's release. I don't think any other, maybe The Conjuring might come close to the impact level that this film had, Saw perhaps, but nothing changed the landscape of horror like Scream did when it came out in 1996. It just hits like a freaking asteroid, just sending shockwaves throughout the world, throughout the pop culture, throughout the genre. I like to describe it in a lot of ways, compare it to the band Nirvana. There is rock and roll before Nirvana, and there is rock and roll after Nirvana. In a lot of ways with Scream, there is horror before Scream, and there is horror after Scream. It's like two different things. So it definitely changed the game, and it is a movie that no matter what, no matter how many times I watch this film, I'll always love it. It's never going to dip for me. It just feels like one of those comfort movies. It's not perfect. I do recognize some flaws when I watch it now, but I think a lot of the flaws are more rooted in just how so many people have really just like copied and parodied this movie since it was released, and just how so many people just kind of riff off of it. They all want to create the next Scream. Like for 15 years after this movie came out, everybody was trying to recreate Scream. They were trying to change the genre, change the game. And I think that kind of, in a lot of ways, for better or for worse, Scream did change the horror genre, but I think in a lot of ways it kind of changed it for the worse there for a while, because a lot of the movies, the series that ripped this one off, like Urban Legend, which I like the first Urban Legend, but I Know What You Did Last Summer, Halloween even ripped this movie off with H2O. They always just felt like they were chasing the coattails of something that was far superior than their movies, which just made them feel very lackluster and just very uninspired in a lot of ways. But this movie, the first Scream film, is a great film. There's really not much else you can say about it. Classic from my childhood. It's just one of the most smart, slick, cool, fun scripts of all time. Kevin Williamson wrote the script for this. It's just, it took everything that was established in that genre beforehand, kind of flipped it on its head, kind of made fun of it a little bit. This movie does act like a light, like spoof type parody of the genre. It is very funny, has a lot of hilarious moments. It's endlessly quotable, like Matthew Lillard, some of the lines that he says in this movie, "I better live her alone, live her alone," or "my parents are gonna be so mad at me." It's just like Matthew Lillard's out on fire in this movie. Jamie Kennedy in this film as well. Just all of his rules, the rules to surviving the horror movies. It's just all iconic. It's all classic. Some of the more iconic lines in film history just came from this movie, and it's just, it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I love it. When I watch it now, I'm just like saying the words and lines along with them as they're spewing them out. But in addition to it being fun, hilarious, having a lot of comedy in it, comedic moments, it's also super scary in its approach. It acts like a whodunit, a murder mystery also. So there's just a lot of different elements and things going on in this movie, and it just all just works together so well and just so seamlessly together. Of course, led by the expert direction of Wes Craven. Like, he's just a master of horror. A lot of people will call Wes Craven the master of horror. I tend to agree. Whenever you create like two franchises like Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream, you have to reach that legendary status. There is not too many other directors who can lay claim to two of the most iconic franchises in just film history, horror film history. Like, so Wes Craven to me will always probably be the master of horror. Even though John Carpenter is great, he's not always known for horror films. Wes is more or less known for just the horror genre, and I just think he knocks it out of the park with this movie. It's just everything that this movie does, from the opening scene with Drew Barrymore, just how it kind of sets you up to believe that Drew's going to be the main character of this film, takes her out in the first 5 to 10 minutes. It just shocked everybody. It's just, I don't know what else to say about Scream. Scream has been, like I said, it's been with me forever. It is a movie though, like I said, I noticed some flaws with it. The dialogue in the film, some of it doesn't age the best. I don't know, just when I watch it, I'm just like, this is something I would have loved in the 90s, but it's not something that necessarily resonates with me now when I watch it. And I think it's just because I've seen so many other copycats, so many people parody it. I brought this up before, like on some of the reviews. I don't know why, but like the spoof movies that come after that I watch just as much as the originals, they always seem to kind of lessen the impact of these better, great films that they're spoofing. So Scary Movie, I probably watched the first Scary Movie just as much as I watch Scream, so I can't help but think of the lines that they say in Scary Movie when they're saying them in Scream. It's just like these two movies just go hand in hand with me, and it's almost like I think to myself when I'm watching Scream, like, wait, weren't they supposed to say this? And I'm like, no, they said that in Scary Movie. So it's kind of weird in that way. I know Scream's a great movie, but it's like I can't help but think of the movie that's making fun of it when I'm watching it. And it doesn't ruin the movie for me. I love Scream still. It's a great slasher flick, but it's also, it just lessens the impact and makes it a little bit less scary and just feel a little bit more goofy when I'm watching it. But anyway, Scream, it's a great movie, guys. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's not the best horror movie of all time. It would probably maybe get in my top 15 horror films of all time. Yeah, one hot take that I might have is I feel like as I've gotten a little bit older, I've definitely started to appreciate the second Scream just a little bit more. I think I like Scream 2 slightly better than this one because it feels like it takes everything that this one established and just like ups the ante. And I just love the characters in that one. I love Timothy Olyphant. I love Laurie Metcalf, the introduction of them, Jerry O'Connell. I just love the campus setting. There's just a lot of things. The opening to the Scream 2, I think, is a better opening than the original Scream. But yeah, we're not here to talk about Scream 2. Scream, it's a great movie. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for the actual score. So getting into the transfer, guys, this is why you're buying this release. You're buying it for this impressive 4K transfer. And what I can tell you right off the bat, this does deliver. It is a solid and much improved transfer over the previous Blu-ray release. Now, what I will say, full disclosure, I do not own the Blu-ray release of Scream. I've never owned the Blu-ray of Scream. I have all my DVD copies still from Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3. I have the Blu-ray of Scream 4, but I never bought that 5-film pack of all the Scream movies that I believe came out in, like, I don't know, 2014 or something like that. But yeah, I never owned any of the Scream movies on Blu-ray for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. Same reason why I never owned like Halloween 4 and 5 on Blu-ray. I had the DVDs and I just never felt the need to upgrade, because I don't know, it's something like in my mind, just like horror doesn't need to be like the highest level of quality. I can watch horror in lower definition because that more grittier, grungier type transfer will lend itself better to like the scares in the movie. I don't know, it's just how my mind kind of works. So I never owned the Blu-ray, so this is without a doubt the best that Scream's ever looked for me, because I never watched it on Blu-ray. So this transfer though, I looked at some images comparing this to the Blu-ray. It is definitely an upgrade over that previous Blu-ray release. And from what I heard, it's not a great, it's not very well regarded in the physical media community. So this is a brand new restoration of the original 35 millimeter negative. So like I said, this is just going off of the film materials from back then, just adding in that HDR into it, which the contrast balance and the black levels really shine in this HDR presentation. It gives you a much more detailed look at the objects in the distance. In particular, one scene that really stood out to me right in the beginning, Drew Barrymore standing there in the doorway. She's kind of looking out of her front door, and it's kind of a shot of her looking out. And then right behind her, you can see the TV, the blue from the TV is still on behind her. And you can just notice that, like, it's just so sharp. The colors are so vibrant. It's so detailed. Just everything that's in the background of that shot just looks incredible in that shot of her in the doorway. So that's one thing I definitely noticed. In other scenes throughout the film as well, you can just really notice the backgrounds, some of the wallpapers on the walls and stuff when they're inside. It all looks phenomenal. So the black levels, the contrast, a lot of this movie takes place at night, so it does look significantly better with that HDR in there. So you also have a richer, more vibrant colors, you know, the same as you would come to expect with all of these 4K releases. You know, one thing I noticed, you know, Drew Barrymore's lips, like right from the opening shot where you see her with that kind of eggshell color sweater that she's got on, her lip got this like bluish black like coloring to it, and it just like contrasted with her face, which is kind of whiter, and it just looked so phenomenal. I noticed like right off the bat, I was like, well, this is definitely an upgrade right here. Another thing that really stood out to me was Gale Weathers' kind of like brown leather jacket, kind of the red shirt that she was wearing underneath of it towards the end of the film, towards the closing act of the film. That all looked great as well. You could just tell the colors of the brown and the red, how they kind of went together, much more vibrant and colorful, and just kind of stood out to me. So yeah, excellent transfer across the board. Again, I don't have the Blu-ray to compare it to. I'm just going off of the 4K that I saw. But I can tell you right now, it's definitely an improvement over the DVD copy that I do have. So getting into the audio, guys, some people might be disappointed here. Dolby Atmos is not included in this, but you do get the DTS HD master audio for the 5.1 surround sound. So it's the same as the previous releases. So I know there's people that are going to be disappointed, but I don't have Dolby Atmos for this setup anyway, so I'm just listening to it on a soundbar. So everything sounded great to me. This film has a great score, great soundtrack to it. One thing I didn't notice, I'll call out real quick because it kind of blew my mind when I watched it. And it was definitely an homage to Halloween, which this movie's paying homage to Halloween all throughout. Like, I don't know how they got away with like playing the score for Halloween when Dewey's walking around the house. There's just like, they would have definitely had to get in touch with Carpenter for that, but because like Halloween's playing throughout the entire third act of the film. So getting into the, what was I going to say? The opening of the film, when Skeet Ulrich is crawling through Neve Campbell's window and he's, you know, doing the Exorcist thing, edited for TV, all that stuff. I never noticed that the song in the background was a slowed down, like acoustic version of Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. I never noticed that before. So maybe the audio was just working to this particular release's advantage, because I never noticed that song before playing in the background, but it was awesome. And that kind of blew my mind, because obviously that's played in the first Halloween film. So yeah, audio fantastic for me, but I know some people are going to be disappointed with that lack of Dolby Atmos. So as far as the special features, guys, you only get one new special feature, and it's an 8-minute new special feature taken from the set of the new Scream film that's coming out next year, Scream from 2022. So you do have the directors from the new Scream film on there. You have Courtney Cox, you got David Arquette, Neve Campbell, some of the actors from the upcoming movie also. So one thing that stood out to me, it's a good special feature. They all kind of had their sad moment with Wes Craven, kind of remembering him as well. So I've been getting choked up a lot about the Wes Craven love, because we had Christy Swanson on the Deadly Friends Scream Factory release. She was getting choked up about it. You can just tell that he just had such an impact on everybody. It's just incredible. I definitely want to learn more about Wes Craven and just his legacy and his direction and stuff like that, and just dive deeper into all of his filmography at some point, because by all accounts, he was just a great dude and just one of the most influential and inspiring directors that has been in film history. So definitely want to dive deeper into his filmography. But the special feature's fine, but one thing that kind of stood out to me is it's like you're seeing all the new actors and stuff, and I'm like, I can just tell, just looking at these actors, these like no-name actors, of like, you don't have the charisma and the capabilities to pull off what this cast did back in the 90s. Like Neve Campbell, man, she just so embodies the role of Sidney Prescott. I just love her in this movie. Courtney Cox with her sassiness. And yes, I know that they're all in the new film, but just the other characters, Matthew Lillard, Keith Ulrich, they're so great in that original Scream, and you just don't see any of that in this new cast. It just looks so plain and dull and generic. I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope they pull something out of them and they bring us something fresh and unique and different, but it just feels like it's going to be more of the same, and the cast just doesn't look good to me. So that's one thing that stood out as a negative, but it's a nice special feature, like I said, 8-minute special feature, but that's it. You get some older stuff from previous releases, like deleted scenes and bloopers and uncut footage and stuff like that. You get the commentary by Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson, which I've listened to that one before. It's a great commentary, but that's the same commentary that they've had all the way back to the DVD. So yeah, special features. I appreciate one new special feature. I do, because you don't even get that a lot with these catalog titles these days. But yeah, you only get that. So it's not like, you know, special features a little lacking, but it's a nice steelbook as well. Like I said, I'll do the full unboxing. I'll take y'all to the table right now and just kind of show you, but you got the Scream on the front with the knife and the ghost face. That's a nice design. Scream on the side right there. I like how they have Wes Craven's name above it, though. It's kind of very it's kind of with the same font as Scream as well up there. So that's a nice touch. And then you have on the back, do you like scary movies? I like the look of the phone in the bottom right there. That's really cool. The Paramount logo at the bottom, Miramax and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, guys, I think the steelbook's going for like $25.99. I think that if you're a fan of Scream like I am, it's a classic movie. You absolutely need this in the best possible format. It looks great on 4K. It's a great movie. For me, for my money, it's absolutely worth a pickup or an upgrade. So I would highly recommend this new release. Yes, you don't have the Dolby Atmos. You don't have a lot of special features. But to be honest, you don't get those with a lot of these catalog 4K. So it's no reason to knock this one because it doesn't have it either. And at least it had one new special feature. So at the end of the day, guys, I have to recommend that you pick this up if you're a big fan of Scream. So appreciate you guys watching this review. Please like, comment down below your thoughts on Scream. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all of those future videos, and we'll see you next time.